Hello and welcome to the Be Formless Flow Driven CEO and VC podcast, where we are reshaping life, leadership, business, and investing from the inside out. And it is Happy Friday for everybody today. Welcome to the show, Patrick Prokesch. Gosh, welcome to the show, Patrick. I know
Perfect.
someone with Prokesch as a surname, by the way, so it just instantly went there.
Perfectly pronounced. Patrick Prokesch. That's the one.
Totally. How are you? How's your day? How's your day going so far?
Very
From
good.
sunny,
Thank you.
is it sunny in Berlin today?
I wish it were. Let's imagine it would be. Yeah, my mood's just spreading up. Now it's not. But I hope it's over the weekend, so it's going to be fine.
I feel like I've been in Berlin 2 times this week. Like, I talk to a lot of people about how much I'm traveling around the world right now, quite virtually. And I was talking to someone you actually know last night on the pod, and he was in Berlin, and here we are again. And, it's Friday here, and I'm talking to you in Berlin. There's just this real energy and vibe that I can feel and sense coming out of Berlin. And like I said, I haven't been there for over 20 years. And we've got
Should
quite
change
a
that.
yeah, I know. You said come over for the big conference next May. I think I will. And I think we've got quite a conversation. Again, it's all around this creativity, AI, and what you're doing and what you're building and the excitement around that. Let's get on into it. You are the co-founder at Solid. I'm going to ask you a little bit about that name later, by the way. And it's building the #1 AI video creation agent for director to consumer, e-com, and agencies. And essentially, Patrick, you and your team, you operate at that intersection of AI, media, and commercial scale, building systems designed to reshape how brands create, test, and evolve content in real time. And I feel like, and my background is obviously advertising and communications, right? And it feels like it's just continuously changing by the day. And again, I'll get your thoughts on that shortly. So, as co-founder and CEO of Solid, you've focused on autonomous AI video creation, and that's helping consumer brands and AI SaaS companies produce and scale high-performing creative across platforms like Meta, TikTok, and YouTube. And your work sits within a broader shift happening across the marketing and technology landscape at the moment, where creative production is moving from I wouldn't just say static. It's just moving from campaigns as we know it, if you like, toward adaptive AI driven systems built for like constant iteration. It's actually it is constant, right? Before founding Solid, you spent more than a decade operating across SaaS growth and M&A, and you led commercial expansion at Meister. It had 40 million plus users. You were advising in international transactions at i5 Invest, and you worked across multiple acquisitions and growth stage deals involving companies later acquired by players like including Canva. And what you just said to me before, they were already doing AI back then. So again, I just a reminder to the listeners, and hello listeners, I keep forgetting to say hello to everybody. AI has been around for years and years and years, and it's not new. It's just feels like it's very new. And so therefore, having spent years helping scale and position companies for acquisition, your current focus reflects a different transition, which is moving from building value for incumbents to building something of your own with your co-founder and team inside one of the fastest growing moving shifts in technology today. I'm going to pause for a second, and then but ultimately, what I want to say is your work sits in an ongoing tension between automation and originality, and that this just keeps coming up for me at the moment, like this, and also like something for the listeners: automation and originality. And I heard this fascinating stat on LinkedIn today as well, like 62% of content is actually like created by AI, and I'm like, what? And so, scaling creativity and what happens when AI begins reshaping not just how companies market, it's also how ideas themselves are produced and distributed. So, I'm going to hand it over to you because there was quite a lot in there and there's quite a lot to unpack. Tell us a bit about your journey.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for the intro. And yeah, it's great to be in the pod. Super
Thank you.
fun. And yeah, so the journey is basically I had to become a founder at some point. It was a great desire of mine already very early on. But then I took a turn after studying law originally and then adding business administration, finance to it. And then, doing all the exchange semesters and all the exchange internships and, going to all the countries that I could, it broadened my horizon. And then it was clear law isn't something that I wanted to pursue, and it's probably international business. And I wanted to work in international context all the time, right? And then I wanted to do something that's more, where I had, I don't know, intrinsic motivation, I would say, working independently on stuff where I could drive things forward. And so eventually this is obviously, you need to do something and found your own thing or build your own thing. And we did that already during uni, having a headhunter for like really specific talent. And we built that for, those students to link them up with the Googles and the McKinseys and the whatnot. And this was fun, it's like a first little step into what could become like a bigger company at some point that you build yourself. But then I found a home with an investor who invested in multiple companies, sold a bunch also. And he was saying, hey, let's do this. Let's build an M&A boutique from founders for founders, because nothing like that exists. And so I was like very intrigued by it. And so straight after uni, I became sort of a director in that company, which was an odd title, straight after that experience. And then I hired a bunch of people, and then we built and started working with incredible founders, incredible teams, helped them to go overseas, especially the US. So spend a lot of time in the Silicon Valley, especially San Francisco, but then also all the conference, cities like Las Vegas and New York and stuff, which was like 4 years back and forth, Europe and the US. So the best of both worlds. And it taught me a lot during that time. And it was a great incubation also for me, working on my skills and helping founders build their companies and scale and eventually also sell their companies. One of them you mentioned was remove.bg. It was like background removal with a click, which was one of the biggest sort of like AI cases that people have had direct contact with. So they could just open a browser and then they could just drop an image and then remove the background, which usually took like hours with the lasso tool in Photoshop. And then suddenly you could do it with AI and it was actually good quality. So this is like a mind-blowing moment, right? And this was where AI did a huge job already for consumers, agencies, large companies, small companies, all kinds of stuff, where it became like part of a workflow. And this is where you could see the first time how powerful AI can actually be. And another company was iTranslate that I worked with, also incredible founders, which are now also investors with us, angels. And they were doing like speech and machine translation. So you could actually take your phone, you flip it around, you had your microphone here, and then you could talk to one another. And this was, 2018 or something, it's like crazy. And this was earlier than the acquisition of Canva. And so this was already like mind-boggling, and you could actually talk to, I don't know, Vietnamese people on a beach and have a conversation with them and their families. It was incredible. I spent like 6 hours on that beach having a good time. And so this is where you could see AI like really actually transforming things, processes, tasks, even like daily lives. And so speech and text translation, and then image manipulation or image change, and then video. And then seeing what Canva has been doing over the past couple of years, also, it's sort of like if you combine all of them, put some music in there, put some AI voices in there, you essentially have video, right? And so when me and my co-founder met about 2+ years ago, 2 years ago or so, when we started building, we figured out that video would be the thing that we wanted to work on, because we had some, experience in AI application layer technologies that would then build their own models eventually. And coming from that side where you actually try to solve a use case or a problem that somebody has. And Chris was at Google for a long time. He was there for 7 years as a Google veteran, went through all the big projects at Google, like Chrome, Street View, the cars that drive around. And then also 3D spatial mapping, it's called, when you let robots run around in warehouses doing tasks autonomously. So it's autonomous video understanding. And then at the end, he was at Google Shopping, which is performance marketing essentially. And, and this is where the performance marketing bug bit him, and where he saw that this is basically essentially data science combined with creation. And this is something that we want to do, or that we do currently also at Solid, where we've taken all our sort of like experiences from the past, overlaid them, and then talk to people who would have a use case or a benefit of these problems that could be solved with technology like this. And then you end up very, very quickly at consumer brands, and you end up very, very quickly in growth and performance marketing and creative teams, essentially. And this is how Solid was born. And then we started digging and started working, and what is now a very cool company with an amazing team, a very cool product, and I love our customers. And so it's a very fun time.
I love it. It's such a great story. Let's start with Solid. How did you guys come up with the name Solid, and what does Solid constitute, and what does it mean for the business?
I don't know. So Chris spent a lot of time in the US as well. One of my first very big like international experiences was actually studying in Australia, in Perth at UWA. So Solid
See,
comes up all the time. if you sort of grew up with that, And when we sat down to think about a name and think about the branding and did like a framework and whatever, we came up with lots of names, bought a bunch of domains as well. We probably own like, I don't know, hundreds of domains because we did go about this very thoroughly. But then we were saying like, this name sounds solid, and this name, yeah, it's actually quite solid, And at some point we were like, we said solid like 20 times now in the last half an hour. Maybe it's just solid. Maybe that's what it is. And we started liking it and playing around with it a bit. And then we saw all those other AI companies out there that like call themselves super and call themselves duper and crazy and I don't know, scale and all of those crazy names. Some of them not really living up to that name. And then we said, no, let's just build something that's solid. We're building AI creative scaling solutions, where you can take videos and images and stuff and you scale them. But let's call ourselves Solid, building something that actually, fulfills what you wanted to do. And yeah, that's how we started, and then we stayed with it.
Amazing, amazing. I've got a couple of questions, like in terms of like this data science and creativity, and then it comes back to performance, right? Like, performance is such a critical, more than ever. Customers are looking for return on investment, like especially with the state of the world that we're in, and, inflation and the state of the economy, etc. And then there's this other tension point which comes to choice, right? And and so I call out data science, creativity, performance, and choice in terms of AI is almost becoming like there's a lot of beigeness happening with when it comes to brands, and everyone could say the same thing or be known for the same thing, right? And so then you've got this performance piece. And so how much do you still see, and especially with what you guys are doing, and we're gonna do a little demo so you can explain it a bit more, and show us what it actually looks like, how it actually works, like a bit of an end to end. The creativity versus the data science, and then how that works from a performance perspective. How important is the creativity side of it? Is it more important than ever, or like what's your view on that?
Yeah, it's a good point. I think creativity is more important than ever. You cannot stress this more, like this is where humans actually really make the huge difference, right? Because our brains are just, very well wired to do stuff like that. And even if a person says, oh, I'm not creative, I don't know, like this is not my thing, and I don't know, everyone is, and everyone is in their specific expertise or in their specific domains. Lawyers are creative, tax accountants are creative, you're creative, like everyone's in some way creative. And this is what the beauty about the human mind is, that we are incredibly creative, incredibly kind of like versatile and diverse and stuff. And we can combine all of those patterns. And AI isn't good at that. It's gonna get better at that, but it's human creativity. I think humans want human creativity, and humans also want other humans. Humans just don't want just AI generated stuff, that is trying to sell them something or is trying to convince them about something. I don't know. I want the human to tell me a story. I want the human to tell me what I should do and why they have chosen that path and why they went there. And like they encourage me to do something else, right? Which is think critically and think about something else. Long story short, I think creativity is as important as it ever has been, but it will become even more important in the future as you interact with AI. And this is unstoppable, right? So that you have no chance to not interact with AI. You can now switch off your phone and throw your iPhone out the window and say, okay, I live like a hermit in a forest. Fair enough, do that, right? It's also fine to do something like that. But I think if you want to participate in the world and if you want to do something, take AI and take AI for what it is. And it's just a really strong productivity enhancer and can also enhance your creativity. And I think also AI can help you be more creative because you can stop the mundane work and it helps you do the manual hours of whatever you're doing. And in the perspective of video editing, I bet you also have a lot of things, even though you use software now for it and really good stuff, right? But it's still lots of manual labor and it's lots of work and lots of hours. And
I was sitting on my bed today, having a little bit of Friday work time on the bed, editing, like just like doing, yeah, I was editing away, and I was thinking, there's got to be a faster, or there's got to be a better way to do this. Even though there's AI tools. So then, okay, so let's take us on a little bit of a experience with Solid, and let's pull it up on screen, and I want you to add, like, put the creative lens over the top of it, which I know you will, right? Because what you're saying here is creativity is more important than ever. However, from what I understand, and what I've seen with Solid and what you've shared with me, is that you can drive performance even better than you ever have in terms of getting the performance marketing, getting the ROI, getting, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, is that what you're?
yeah, yeah. Let me before I just show you something, let me describe this a little bit better. Like, mm, so think of it like there's two brains, two sides of the brain, right? One is creative, the other one is rather quantitative, rather calculative, like rather rational and whatever. So those two sides, they need to interact with one another, and this is exactly what makes us human and what makes us very, very strong and very good at things, right? In general. But those two sides, they also exist in every organization, in the human body, but they also exist in companies. And usually you have a creative team that's, very creative and it's not very data driven. And then you have a performance marketing team, for example, or an analytics team or a data science team or whoever. So this is the other side of the brain, right? And these two, though, especially in the domain like performance marketing, they need to interact essentially, because performance marketing or organic, like everything where you have an asset, like a video, for example, that you launch, it performs, right? So then it's good. And if it performs, if the algorithm decides, hey, this is a creative that gets engagement, it gets clicks, it gets thumb stops, it gets, it's actually viewed, or it's clicked on, then this is performance. The thing is, with every video or every static or whatever you launch, organic or paid performance marketing, everything has data tied to it just naturally. It's not like a painting like yours that you have behind you. You put it on the wall and you can't really measure if this is performing or if anybody likes it. But if you work on social media, then every asset that you launch and that goes live has data that you can analyze and see if that works or not. And so essentially, these two sides of the brain, they need to work together. There's just no way, right? And if you have a divide in the middle, then it's never going to work. And so essentially, there's new tools emerging that kind of try to bring those two sides together and overlapping. And so it's one of those things that we also do, right? Where we believe human creativity and also human produced shots, that actually people have filmed other people, not essentially only AI generated scenes. These are being produced and they will be produced for a long time. And they need cutting, they need changing, they need editing, they need perfection. they also then, when they go live, when you actually have produced something and you have edited and created those final assets, then you need to go live. And then they are going to generate data to understand, are they working or are they not? So we have this analytical piece as well, that then feeds back into the production cycle that tells you, hey, this is an asset or this is a video that has performed last week. So now I want to take this video and I want to change it. I want to create more diversity. I want to make it shorter, longer. I want to, I don't know, add another script to it. I want to change the beginning. I want to change the end. And this is when you create like lots of tons of variations of those assets based on the data. So it's very powerful. And this is where those two sides come together, where actually a performance marketer who's never been editing in Adobe Premiere Pro or DaVinci or CapCut or whatever can create video and essentially is self-independent, and where a creative team can also come in and create videos that actually performed last week because they see it. And so it's quite a powerful, let's say, flywheel
Yeah.
in motion. Yeah.
Yeah, ecosystem. I call it it's an ecosystem. You called out the word perfection before, right? And I do wonder if, and it's also a question, in terms of the performance marketing, because there is so much, like I am concerned about the beigeness and what could potentially, like creativity could become beige if we're not careful. And Toby and I were talking about this last night. Can the performance marketing and again what you're doing, can it actually like call out whether from an authenticity perspective, can it actually shape how brands can be more authentic or resonate more versus, like, do you know what I mean, from a performance perspective? Because I think there is such a need for us to, brands, people, everybody, like you talked about pre-show around, you've been working, like obviously focusing on your personal brand as well as Solid. Like you want to be authentic. Like you've got your own style. I've got my own style. Do you know what I mean? Like, is that something that yeah.
Yeah, but just take AI and let it help you on creating more authenticity.
Yeah, that's what I'm,
That's
yeah,
essentially,
that's very cool. Yeah. Like
right?
if you put that
So
spin on
without AI, we wouldn't be, we wouldn't be so fast, of course. And so I think just take AI for what it is, and it's just really like a teammate. It's a helper. It's an agent, right? It's
it.
something that can help you on the way. You can like proof check something. You can align your voice, your messaging. You can, it helps you. It analyzes your past posts if you want to build a personal brand, for example. And if you build a new script and or a new, I don't know, post that you want to punch out, and you add like a bunch of images to it, let it cross-reference and see if it hits the tone. What is your tone from the past year, or I don't know. Have a bunch of videos, let AI analyze it and tell you what's the pattern, what's the
Solid and what's not solid, what's working, what's not working.
what's
Okay,
not
so show
exactly.
us, put it up, pull it up. Let's have a look at it. I'm keen to explore
Sure,
this a
that's
little bit.
good.
Do you know how to? Yeah, you should be able to just share. This is my second show and tell on the pod, by the way. So, listeners, can you please let us know if you like the show and tells? Like, comment.
Nice. Yeah, so this is the home screen, basically of Solid. It's a self-service product, so everybody can use it. One person shows, agencies, brands, large brands. Too Good To Go is one of our biggest, customers as well. And then this is Holy Energy, for example. They sell energy drinks as in powder form that you mix with water, and then you get like an energy drink, essentially. And then also iced tea, hydration, milkshake products. I'm actually drinking something of their products right now. And so they are quite big in Europe, especially like 100+ million brand. So it's quite large and sizable. Hopefully they're going to be in Australia and the US soon. Anyhow, so this is the home where you can see also the video projects that you have created just recently, just to look around very quickly. Then you can build concepts from scratch. If you build a concept from scratch, for example, you can then say, I don't know, 30 seconds. video, target group, etc. And then you can build a script, right? A script is essentially the start also in our product. You can, of course, also upload ads or upload videos, upload content, and then change that content, and then later on add a script. But usually that's one of the ways of also how those creative teams and marketing organizations within those large brands and agencies work. They start with a script and a concept. Like, for example, I want to switch from the usual sugary soda to this
Yeah.
non-sugar version of it. Then you can choose like what ad type it is. Let's say it's UGC. Then you can choose like which funnel stage it is. Let's say it's problem aware, but not yet people know about Holy, but people know about the problem, right? So sugary soda drinks that don't really help you. They don't have any supplements in it that really have an effect on you. It's just sugar water, and I want something else. And so it's problem aware. And then you go. And then you can also choose your hook strategy. It's not essential hooks. It's more like, hey, I want to have a statement that's relatable. A problem hook is awesome. Hook is, by the way, the first 3 seconds of your ad usually, or of your
Yes.
video. No matter if you do it organic or on LinkedIn or personal brandy, or it's actually or branding, where it is a performance marketing creative. Hooks are always great, right? Text and visual hooks. And then let's say I want to get all of those hooks in there. Then I choose a project. I can create a new project. Let's say be hot, and
Yeah.
let's do it.
I love
And
it.
so this is sort of what I'm creating. So now it's generating my script. Why does it know? Like, you've seen that it was quite on brand and it was very relatable what it generated. It's not generating it out of thin air, but it knows the brand. And now there's the script. But maybe first I also show you something real quick. We have built a brand hub where there's everything in there, from your colors to your fonts, right? To even your voices, because you can clone voices and put them in here. Then you have your own voice, and then you have your brand guidelines, where there's everything in there, from like target audience to the brand voice and stuff. And it's actually, you can change it and amend it. You can copy paste in there what you have in Claude or ChatGPT and stuff. And essentially here, this is the creative logic, right? So you can add much more here. But it's like your creative strategy, or like how the video agent should cut stuff, right? So now you have your brand hub built. And why is this relevant? Because always the agent, would go back at it, look at this, and build something that is on
Yeah.
brand.
Just
Exactly. And I'm not sure if you have followed OpenClaw and all that frenzy about it in the past couple of months.
went to a conference on OpenClaw the other week. So yeah, it's fascinating.
Fascinating. And so the most genius part about OpenClaw is also that it is very context rich. It has persistent memory, you know, and the sort of it remembers stuff and can always reference that and go forward. So it's always, just you don't have to always do things again and again and again. It just learns and continues. And this is also how we build it. And Peter Steinberger, the founder of OpenClaw, is actually also an angel with us. So I worked with him before, and he's an amazing genius engineer, and we wanted to have him also on the journey with us. So cool. So now you have, I'm just going back to the script real quick. So now you have the script. So it always comes with like 3 hooks, 1 body, 1 CTA. So 3 hooks, meaning like the first part of the video, right? Those are already 3 videos, like 3 variations. 1 fun, hate the bottle haul, heavy drinks, overpriced, somehow still disappointing. This is sort of this like soda switch theme you see here. Then you have the body. Then you can chat with the script, obviously, right? You can say, hey, add 2 more hooks.
Very cool.
And make the body shorter and more punchy. And then it does that, right? And so let's let it think for a bit. And now it's doing it live here. Let's wait for another second. Boom, there's 2 more hooks. Your soda habit is doing too much. So it's like very clear, very punchy. It shortened the body. You can, invite your team as well. You can comment. you can collaborate essentially because it's
Yeah.
real-time collaborative.
Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah.
And then you want to add a voiceover. So you can either add your own recording or voiceover, but you can also do it here and change things, right? So you can choose from many different voices. I don't know, let's do, I don't know, English, US, and gender, female, why not? Bless you.
Thank you. I keep sneezing. Oh.
Let's use one of those and say, hey, this is fine for me. I want to use Cora. And then I can, try out the hook.
Are you
And
actually
see.
creating a video for us now?
Want fun?
Yeah,
Hate the
of course.
bottle haul?
And
Love it.
so let's see if that worked. And now it's creating sort of like the voiceover of all of my whole script that I have. Voiceover means there's an AI voice involved. It could also be your own voices, right? I just chose one of our recommended voices, Cora, here. And
Want fun? Hate the bottle haul? I used to grab soda, then regret the price, the sugar, and the bottle haul. Now I mix wholly instead. Fun drink vibe, lighter routine, zero drama. Shake it, sip it, keep moving.
okay, I love it. This is great. So this is my, now I have created a script out of nowhere, right? And then I have created voices, not nowhere because you had your brand up, but essentially now you can choose like which scenes you want in there. So let's say energy is good, iced tea I don't want to show, milkshake is not what I want to show. Maybe I don't want to show like a specific campaign. Thermo, it's not winter, so I don't need it. Energy is good for me. Action, I want some action in there for sure. So those are tags that I have added, from whatever. And then let's say I want to have 300 scenes that are now being searched. And now I have my agent going about this and building a video from what material? Actually, human created material, right? It's in here.
Yeah, okay.
This
Yeah.
is an AI Google Drive, an AI native Google Drive. So you can actually, if we look for koala, which is a flavor of Holy, koala cola, it's actually one of my favorites. Then you see all the shots with the koala in there because it has video understanding and it understood like very, very well what you were building
Yeah.
or what you have in there. And so now the agent is running, right? So it's just doing the video for me or creating it while I show you this, right? And this is where you have your tags and it helps you to have those tags because you want to guide the agent. Context is everything. You see it as a team member, right? So you want to give it more context. You want to give it more stuff. So now the ad is still processing. Let's look into our projects where Bpot is here. This is the video. We built an AI video editor that is also real-time collaborative, where you can change stuff with your team. Now I have the voiceover
Want
here.
fun? Hate the bottle haul?
Yep, and I have also native subtitles. I can change them. I can move them around. So now,
Easy.
while the
You're
agent is
going
working,
100 miles an hour. Patrick, you are going 100 miles an hour. Like your energy levels are 10 times faster than mine or higher than mine. And and so while we're getting this, while this video
while
is
the
being,
agent is working, let's continue the pod.
yeah, while the agent's working, let's continue the pod because this is creating a video from scratch. And then from what I understand, and we probably won't have time today to go through the other way, essentially though, you can upload existing content and then, is that right? Like that, and then
That's
you
right.
can, yeah.
Upload all your videos, upload raw material. You can upload video ads that are final. Ideally, they don't have any subtitles burned in there because then you wouldn't be able to recycle stuff or use stuff. But you can upload new material, all kinds of stuff. And currently, the agent's running, going through like, oh, boom. And now it built me the video. It looked at through my asset manager and also understood the text, understood everything, and built me a video. And I can just have a look. So now you've seen, right, the scenes drop in there and it's here. And if I click on review, then I see the video a little bit bigger and you have it in, 5 variations here. But yeah, let's check it out.
Want fun? Hate the bottle haul? I used to grab soda, then regret the price, the sugar, and the bottle haul. Now I mix wholly instead. Fun drink vibe, lighter routine, zero drama. Shake it, sip it, keep moving. Try Holy and make the switch today.
So wild. It's actually wild. Like, and so then, like, does it score it from a performance perspective, how well
Not
this is
yet,
going?
because you haven't launched it live, right? So you can always edit in here, right? You can change everything. It added a few more scenes. I want it a little bit shorter and punchier, then let's do that, right? I want to add a different end card, and you can also do those things. But yeah, different formats, different everything. And then you can export the whole thing. Either like I want to export like all of those bodies, then you have 5 videos, and that's how you go forward. And then you can actually launch them live. And then this is when you get those performance data and like also the data analytics part of it. And then it feeds it back into the system. And then you can actually see which scenes performed best, which like video performed best. And you can take let's say a winner. What we call a winner is like a video that has been performing, organic or paid, it doesn't matter, right? But a video that has grabbed eyeballs and did thumb stops and, helped you engage with your audiences. This video, essentially, you want to create a new one, and you also want to kind of like, I don't know, iterate on it, build more variations, maybe even
love it.
localize, like you have it now in Aussie accent and you want to build it in US accent and then in UK accent and maybe Canadian and then maybe German, and so it's quite the multiplication game. That's the one that we are most interested in, because you want to build more diversity and also the
100% more
meta.
relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that. I loved it because it's just amazing and incredible. And I love the fact that you're calling out the two parts of the brain, right? And the ability, there still is a real human piece involved in this. And so it's very cool in terms of, and congratulations, because it's very solid, so to speak. I want to ask you a couple of questions around energy, definitely around energy. You said to me pre-show, you've just come back from one of the biggest conferences in Hamburg, and you had a stall there, and I saw the pictures, and when we share your LinkedIn details at the
Yeah.
end, everyone can check it out. And you said you feel like you're in a real honeymoon stage at the moment because of where you're at within the business, and you can just tell your energy is epic. I love it. It's just like it's like if the listeners can't feel it, I mean, gosh, come on. Like it's cool, right? It's really great. And so you're in that really amazing honeymoon stage. And yet as a founder, it's not always honeymoon stage, right? Like when I met you a few weeks ago, you still had a lot of energy. Your energy is very different now. Tell us a little bit about the different energy levels you encounter on this journey as a founder, from building, being in beta mode to launching, etc. Like what is that like? What does it feel like for you? And on the low energy days, how do you get your energy back up? And then on the high energy days, how do you kind of sometimes bring it down? Like, because I know sometimes I get so excited, and I'm not suggesting that to you. I'm just saying, like, you can almost get too much in the honeymoon stage, and you've got to keep your wits about you, because you're still building, right? Like I know that for my own fact. Yeah,
Yeah,
can't
you need to.
get too relaxed in honeymoon stage.
Yeah, I get actually very punched up and energetic during honeymoon stage, I guess. Honeymoon stage, because we just, as you said, we just completed like one of the biggest conferences, and also we had a booth there, and we didn't know what to expect, and we didn't know what would be the outcome. We thought we might have a few demos on the side, like with our tiny little cute booth, having our feet on the ground still, and then bringing the team and like having this like more seen as a team event, bottom line, if everything else goes to fail, it's a cool team thing, and like we push things forward. And something that I haven't shown you today actually on the product is something that we have shown on stage, because we had a masterclass, which is like your own stage with like 200 people, and you can invite them, and they can apply for it and stuff. And it was full house, like everybody was there, and it was just massive. And we launched something there and showed people the first time, which is sort of like the world's first vibe editing. So in the editor that you have seen right now, I can actually chat with it, so I don't have to do all of those like pushing legal scenes back and forth.
It does it itself.
It just does it. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
You-
Sorry for the
you can
word.
just- No, no, that's okay. You can swear. So you can just go like that. You can voice to tech, like voice to chat, or like.
Yeah. You can just build the video by chatting. It's pretty massive. I haven't shown it to you today, but if anybody of the
Oh
listen,
my
like if
God.
anybody of the listeners want to see it, and be some of the first humans to see it, yeah, just reach out. I'd love to jump on a chat and show you live how that goes. And it's absolutely mind-boggling and mind-blowing. Anyhow, so this was this week. So a lot of cool things, but also the run up to it was, like lots of things didn't work, and like we had to build our stand, and then stuff didn't pan out, and then we had to fix it on stage. Those are just the normal things that happen when you build a company and when you're a founder. Not always things are going the way you planned it, but I have a very strong, I don't know, let's say, opinion about, and also understanding about that you can auto suggest something, you can manifest things in life, and if you manifest them strong enough, then it's actually going to happen. If you say you're sick and I feel sick, and then like da 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 da, and like say the word sick like 1,000 times, it's going to manifest into your brain and you're actually going to get sick. And if you say like, if you have this determination, you want to build a cool company and you want to show people stuff that they can actually use on a daily basis and invite their teams and want to show other people, and if this is the thing that you manifest, then it's actually going to be that way. May that path be rocky at some days and sometimes, and I walk out of the office at 12 or 1 a.m. Yeah, of course, and I walk out and it's just not yet fixed, even though I can't stop not fixing stuff. But sometimes you just have to accept that it's just not going that way, and the next day you're gonna fix it and it's gonna work out, and whatnot, and it always does, and it's just that what it is as a founder. Yeah. So what I love is also controlling your energy, as you said, right? So you can't.
How do you protect your energy? Like, how do you protect it I mean, this is your first founder
Yeah.
ride, if you like, and
Yeah.
you've been on both sides. Yeah, how do you protect your energy? What do you do to actively recover? What do you do to keep the creativity, the perspective? You're the CEO as well, so like, it's kind of all on your shoulders at times, even though you're a co-founder. Like as CEO,
Yeah.
it's you
I
know,
would always have a co-founder.
yeah,
This is one of those things, of course. My co-founder is amazing. Chris he's fantastic. We go along very, very well. And it's just nice to, own your own responsibilities and areas of responsibility, as we call it, and you own them. It's kind of like a puzzle piece that also goes together, and sometimes it overlaps. But having this where you share it with someone and you share the downfalls and you share the successes, and it's just amazing. It's like a partner, It's really like that. Um, so there's to answer your question, there's like three things that I believe are there in that equation. There's probably more, but let's break it down. So one is this manifestation side of things, right? That I explained. Then the other one is understanding your energy levels and your nervous system,
yes,
and how you go from one stage to the next. It's kind of like a very smart person described it to me. Business coach, super cool, and a friend recommended me to her, and then we had a conversation or a bunch of conversations after, and she works with people on this like nervous system regulation, which is a term that people have probably heard of or not, but it's something that is very easily understood, right? It's kind of like a ladder, or you can see it in whatever shape and form, but you go from one side, or like a field, like a paddle field, whatever. You go from one field to the next, and every field is different, right? And you need to understand where you are in certain situations. And this also explains to you very well how you act, how you perceive things, and how you also emotionally react to certain things,
yeah,
depending on in which state you are. And understanding those states and understanding yourself and how you feel in those states makes you just so much more aware of how you can control your energy. Otherwise, you burn out. If you go on this, like, if you are in this like super crazy energy stage and you stay there, you might not be able to just climb one ladder down to be normal again. You might crash into like fight or flight, or you kind of hide and you want to go into the fetus position in the corner and just don't want to hear anybody and don't want to talk to people for a week, you should never go there, right? And if you are there, that's totally fine. That happens at sometimes, but you can do a lot of things to not go there randomly and unexpectedly and surprisingly, right? And so this is something that I use as a method. For me, it's a framework. I work in frameworks in a way. I'm very rational in that sort of way. And then another one is, of course, your social your system, right? You have those 3 pillars in life, I would say. One pillar is your friends, your family, your loved ones. Another pillar is your profession, your purpose, your thing that you're working on, may it be private, may it be work. And then another one is your home, right? Where you feel home. This could be anywhere. This does not have to be where you live. It could be somewhere else. It could be 2 things at the same time, but it's family, your work, and your home. And you need to cherish those things and very deeply care about them. And if something shakes, then the other 2 should stand solid.
Agree.
And ideally all the 3 of them. And of course, sport is like a base layer of that. For me, I'm a former athlete. So for me, sport is something that has always helped me, not only physically, but also mentally, to stay in shape. And yeah.
I love it. Oh my God. Like, and also, do you know, I just watched your energy shift because I actually, I've studied energy. So I'm very big on energy. And I think that, you know, there's a science to it. And there's also, you know, like you just said, around whether it's the fields or the layers, and watching you and your energy when you were sharing about taking us through Solid and the platform, and your energy was like up here. And then quickly as you came out of it, you switched fields, and it was really interesting to observe and watch, because you were like, okay, I've been up here. I'm super excited. I'm high energy. Like, you can see your passion, your creativity, and like you're just like it's infectious, right? And yet then you drop down into the practical realities of you can't be up here all the time. And you don't, because if you stay up here all the time, you're going to end up, like you say, in survival mode. And I've been there. And so it's kind of managing that when you're in your inflection point of high energy, and then bringing it back down to baseline so that you can recover. And you then shared some really fascinating and interesting ways in terms of how founders can then manage their energy and reserve their energy, protect their energy. I love it. It was very cool. It was a very cool way to watch, just, you know, for the listeners, just watching how it changed, and you had this unique ability or innate ability to do so. And I think that's a really big part of business, and especially as founders, and as you know, as we're scaling, building, and creating. And it's almost like performance. It's, in a way, it's like performance. It's like performance. There's when you're performing, like it's like performance, right? When you're performing, and then when you're resting or recovering. And you could apply this to performance marketing and performance tech as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, okay. So, final question for you. What's the big plan? Like, what's Solid up to next? Like, where are you taking this? Are you taking on the world? Like, what's your and your co-founders, you know, manifestation, if you like? You don't have to give away all your secrets, but yeah.
It's not a secret. I think if you're building something, you can have different motivations and different purposes you want to fulfill, and different things and different manifestations, as you say. Quite frankly, I think we are building something really cool and really special here, and it excites me all the time. And also, I love our customers and the people and users that we talk to on a daily basis, and it's a great area. And so we just want to build something that people love, and I don't know where it takes us. So this is sort of the sail, right? Or the wind, whatever, or the ship. I don't know, whatever you want, right? But yeah, I just want to build something that people use and people love and people cherish, and, you know, tell their friends about, because it's awesome. And this is something that I can then stand behind, and I can have conviction on, and then I can build something bigger from it, and involve other people and partners and investors and customers and everything. So if we're not believing in it, like I can't sell it. So there's no chance. So and we're going about like big feats, right? So if the Adobes and the Canvas are not building something like this, then we have to do it. And and we're doing it already. And this is something that excites me and is pushing us forward. And trying to, huddle with awesome people on the way. And then I think this is where we're going.
Very cool. Oh my gosh. We're gonna watch this again with you in like, I don't know, 12 months time, and you're like, this is where I'm at, B. Okay, final question. Final. It's not even a question. It's I guess I'd love for you. You talked at the very start, and it was music to my ears. Intrinsic motivation. What would be one piece of advice or one tool that you could share with any founder that is in the building stage? They're in the beta building stage, if you like. What would be one piece of advice you would give them in terms of how they can, if, on a shitty day, what's something that you would recommend in terms of tapping into that intrinsic motivation?
Nice.
Or
Good.
what do you do? Because everyone's got their own motivation and everyone's got their own what makes them tick and their own intrinsic motivation. But what's something that you could share?
Yeah, I think it's good because even on a shitty day, or when you need to fix something or when you need to do something, it just needs to be done. It's just sometimes there's no way around it. You can't just stop working and leave the office and go on a beach and just leave it for the weekend. Sometimes things, and let's talk about those things that kind of like on a shitty day, those things need to get done and you need to get them done very quickly, and it's just what it is, and you need to plow through because there's all kinds of other tasks where you can just leave and like take a breath and I don't know, like let it sit for a weekend and then go at it with a fresh mind on Monday, right? There's things like that, and I love those guys, those things as well. Like you can really sit down with a fresh creative mind and then solve it. But then sometimes there's a situation where you just need to get shit done. Do something that you love for a bit, right? So do something that kind of like shifts your mind, shifts your perspective, because you need to get this done, so it needs to get done. Go about the hard things faster, earlier. Don't waste time on the little things. Try to go head on the main problem. And to recharge batteries and energies in meanwhile, or for those 5 minutes that you have before you start again doing it. Do something that you do, a handstand. I don't know. Go outside, take a breath, watch a bird, call your mom, do something, or call your partner. Do something that kind of like recharges you sometimes quickly, not caffeine, not just shift.
Yeah, it's a shift.
Yeah.
It shifts.
Yeah.
Shifts you from the inside out. Oh,
Yeah.
Patrick, it's been such a great conversation. Thank you so much. How do we find out more about Solid? If people are interested in doing a demo with you, seeing the new product, or
anytime.
checking it out, how do we find out more?
So solidlabs.com, solid labs with an S in one word.com. This is our homepage. Check it out. And also there's a request access button and a demo button. Hit either of those. Request access, give us a bit of information about yourself. And then we reach out to you within a short period of time, a few hours usually, as we go along. This is the easiest way to do things and get in touch with us, obviously. So solidlabs.com, or follow me on LinkedIn, or hit me up on LinkedIn, share a connect request. I look at all of them personally all the time, and message me and get in touch. I think that's the easiest way to do things. And then try out the product, use it for yourself. Tell us what you love about it. Tell us what's not in there, and we build it.
Thank you. Great conversation. I wish you utmost success for Solid. I can't wait for you to conquer the world, and especially with what you're doing. So Great conversation. Thank you for the demo. I need to do more. We need to have more demos on the pod. What does everyone think? I love a good old demo, like, because you can see it. Like, I'm a visual person. Like, when you're just talking about something, there's nothing better than being able to understand it visually. So yeah, that's how my brain ticks. So thank you, Patrick. Loved all your energy, all the vibes. Thank you so much for a fantastic conversation. Have a great Friday and happy weekend. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye, V.